Okay, so as we come back, we are going to discuss about the next program. So, what will be the next program that we will be writing, or what will we start with today? See, the thing is that in the last discussion we had talked about many basic programs. So, let us do a little bit of revision of some basic program before we go to some new acquiring some new knowledge today. So, what is the first basic program that I am talking about today? Say for example, you have been asked to write a program which will print the half of the number that is inputted by the programmer. Say for example, the user inputted by the user, sorry. So, say for example, the user has inputted 76, you should output 38, that is half of 76 is 38. If the user inputs 14, your output should be 7, half of 14 is 7. If the user inputs 20, your output should be 10, half of 20 is 7. So, you just need to print half of the number. So, if we start writing the program, then you must remember that the division sign is there. So, you can divide a number by 2 and simply output it to get the number, get the half of the number. So, we start writing this program. So, as I was talking with you, you have noticed that I have already done the basic thing that I taught last time, hash include stdio.h, hash include conaio.h, main, and then the brackets. Within this bracket, whatever you write is your program. So, let me start with the program. Printf enter a number. So, if you write printf enter a number, you know very well that the user will be inputting a number. So, you want to print the half of it. So, enter a number, after that we should write a /n. It is better to put this /n new line character, so that you go to a new line and the user can input there, or you can avoid this /n and simply, because only one number will be inputted. So, you can also put a blank space like this, that is the user will input in the same line, hardly matters. However, you have to scan this number now. So, for scanning is scanf %d ampersand number again. Let me scan it in a variable called number. So, this variable number, if you remember, as taught last time, the number needs to be declared. So, this variable number is declared by writing int number. Definitely this number is an integer. So, once this number is inputted, what will be your output? Your output should be the number divided by 2. So, the output is equal to number by 2, half of the number. So, you need to declare a variable also called output. So, this variable output is declared. So, output contains number by 2. So, say for example, when you tell the user by printf enter a number, the user enters any number, say the user enters 16. So, you have scanned that 16 within this variable called number. So, when you write number by 2, it is 8, which is now assigned to output, the variable called output. So, now you need to print this variable output. So, printf, here is an R, printf half of the number that you inputted is %d. So, what is the variable that is going to replace that %d? Your output, because the output contains half of that number. So, the output is going to replace this %d. So, half of the number that you inputted is %d output. That should be the thing. You do not forget that we have to start a program with clear screen. As I told you last time, please start the program with clear screen, because you do not want to look at a previously used screen in this new program. So, you write this printf, and before you end the program, you put in a get ch. So, these are the two things that you always do, and do not forget a semicolon should be there at the end of each line. So, now again I again explain the program very quickly. Hash include stdio.h, conaio.h, main, clear screen to start with, so that the screen is cleared. Number, output, these are two variables I have used. Printf enter a number that you see in screen, enter a number, you see that in the screen. Scanf %d, whatever the user inputs, you scan that integer within the variable called number. Number divided by 2 is the output half of the number which you now assign to output variable. So, you print that output variable itself, half of the number that you inputted is %d output. So, this output is going to replace this %d. So, you get half of the number. So, let me run this program. Do not forget Alt R, run. No errors. So, I input that same thing 16, the one I used for explaining. Half of the number that you inputted is 8, fine enough. Let me run once more, Alt R, run, say 28, half of the number inputted is 14. Again let me run, say 34, half of the number that you inputted is 17. Now say suppose I run again, this time I input 35. What is half of 35? Half of 35, half of the number that you inputted is 17. Is half of 35 17? Yes, it is, with a remainder 1. I told you last time that a remainder can also be obtained by writing number %2. This pi sign could have been replaced by % sign to get a remainder. So, you can also print a remainder, that is possible. So, that is one thing. Now, I think you have understood this division thing. Now, I want to go to a new thing. So, a new day, you should start by learning new things. So, what is a new thing I am going to learn today? Say for example, you were given a program, a new program, where you are asked to check whether a number which is inputted is an even number or an odd number. How to write that? For that, let me firstly clean out this entire program, leaving out the basic thing. The stdio.h hash include should be there, the stdio.h should be there, conio.h should be there, main should be there, clear screen get ch should be there. So, everything, if the program that you write should be in between this clear screen and get ch. So, now you have been asked whether a number is even number or an odd number. Say for example 34, you have to print it is an even number. If the user enters 34, your program should output that it is an even number. If the user enters 56, still you have to print it is an even number. But if the user enters 15, you have to print it is an odd number. If the user inputs 11, you have to print it is an odd number. If the user prints 81, you have to print it is an odd number. If the user enters 76, you have to print it is an even number, and so on. So, understand very well. So, I have to print whether it is an even number or an odd number. Now, how is it to be done? How do you know it is an even number or an odd number? The idea is very simple. Say the number inputted by the user is 84. If you make 84% 2, that is, you want to calculate the remainder when 84 is divided by 2, you know that this remainder is 0. So, if the remainder is 0, then the number is even. But if suppose the number was 15, an odd number, then 15% 2, the remainder is 1. So, if the remainder is 1, you know it is an odd number. Say the number inputted is 74. 74% 2, you know it is 0, even number 0. 36% 2 is 0, you know it is an odd number. Any even number, any odd number, the output remainder should be 1. Say for example 29. 29 is an odd number, %2, the remainder is 1. So, what you need to do is the number that has been inputted has to be divided by 2 and the remainder needs to be checked. So, I know that I will have to tell the user to enter a number, is not so? The same thing is still there. You need to scan that number definitely, scanf %d ampersand number, that number needs to be scanned definitely. So, that number needs to be declared also int number, but that number is an even number or an odd number. How do you know? Very simple, you need to divide that number by 2 and you need to check the remainder. So, number %2 needs to be done. Now, how to check whether the number is even or odd? This is 0, number percent 2 is 0 or number percent 2 is 1. How do you know that? For that, there is something in the C language which we say if. If is something that can be used. You can always use this if to check. So, if number percent 2, you need to check this. If this number percent 2 is equal to 0. Now, this equal to is not written with a single equal to, we need two equal tos. I explain this a little bit. See, when I was writing, if you remember, last day when I was writing sum is equal to a plus b. Do you remember I was writing sum equal to a plus b? Now, what is this equal to? If you remember, this equal to that I had written last day was an assignment, a and b to be added, and whatever is the sum that was assigned to the variable sum by using this equal to. So, this equal to means assignment, but this equal to that you are writing, you are checking whether it is so. So, this is written by not a single equal to, but a double equal to, which you are checking. You are checking whether number percent 2 is 0 or not. So, you are checking the number percent 2 is 0 or not. So, for that checking of equality, you have to write two equal to's and not one. That is the rule of this language. So, you have to check if number percent 2 is equal to 0. If this is equal to 0, then you know that the number inputted is an even number, but this is not equal to 0, this is 1, you know that it is an odd number. So, if this number percent 2 is equal to 0, you can immediately write printf. After this if, you have to put a bracket that if this happens, then this. So, what is to be done? If this is true, that part remains within this bracket. I think I explained this once more. If this if part is true, then whatever you want the thing to do, you have to write it within this bracket. So, if number percent 2 is equal to 0, what do you know? That this number is an even number. So, if number percent 2 is equal to 0, then you write printf the number you inputted is even, as simple as that. Is not so? The number you inputted is even, but if this if is not true, if it is false, then you can write else. If this is not true, if number percent 2 is equal to 0, which means it is an even number, you print that the number you inputted is even. But if it is false, then the else part that you write within another bracket. What is to be done if this is false? So, if this is true, you print that the number you inputted is even, but if this is false, you write printf the number you inputted is odd. So, do you understand? If part, if this if is true, then you know that the number you inputted is. Now, if this part is true, you know that the number you inputted is even. So, you print within this part, if this if part is true, then you print the number you inputted is even. But if this if part is false, if number percent 2 is not equal to 0, then you print the number you inputted is odd. So, do you understand how I have written this code? It is not so tough. It is only the if thing which is a new thing you have understood now. If the number percent 2 is equal to 0, if this number is even number, you print it is even, else you print that it is odd. That is as simple as that. So, this is how you write the code. I explain the code program once more before I go into it. You clear the screen, you declare a variable called number, you ask the user enter a number, scan it within a variable called number, then you check number percent 2, that is number divided by 2, what is the remainder. If the number remainder is 0, say 56 is the number, 56 is an even number, 56% 2, that is 56 divided by 2, remainder is 0. If the remainder is 0, you know that number is even. So, you print the number you inputted is even. Else, if the number %2 is not equal to 0, then you say printf the number you inputted is odd. So, you understand how it is working? Let me run it. Alt R, run, enter a number. So, 54. What is this? Even number. See what it says? The number you inputted is even. Let me enter an odd number and check out. Sorry, Alt R, run, 23, an odd number. The number you inputted is odd. Alt R again, run, 27, odd. Run again, 38, even. So, I think you understand this. This is good enough. So, this if, see, if this if is true, here you have written one single line. You could have written many lines within this if. If this if part is true, then what you want the program to do, whatever you want the program to do, you put it within these brackets. So, within this bracket should be whatever you want the program to do. So, that is you can write within this if, not only one line, you can write many lines. But suppose like here, if there is only one single line within this if block, there is one single line, then you can avoid using this bracket. This bracket can be avoided to be used if there is one single line within this if block. Like over here, there is one single line, you want a single line to be executed if this if is true. However, if this is false, there also you want a single line to be written over there, here also you can avoid the bracket then. So, this else part can also avoid the bracket and you can run the program once more, it will still run. You check out, 37, odd, run again with an even, 98, even. So, this works. What change I have done? I have only got rid of the bracket, because within if there was one single line, within this else there was one single line. So, we avoided the bracket. However, if within this if there would have been more than one line, if within this else there would have been more than one line, then you should have used the bracket. I think you get it. So, this is the thing. I could have done one more change. I could have over here, just for the sake of it, I could have written the number %d you inputted is even. Which number you inputted? This number. So, the number, say the user inputs 57 over here, say the user inputs 56 over here. So, this number 56 is within this variable number. So, if this 56% 2 is equal to 0, if this 56 is definitely even, it will print the number %d, that is the number %d to be replaced by this number, the number 56 you inputted is even, or is a word input you inputted could have been avoided. The number 56 has been inputted, it is even. Similarly, over here also the number %d, you could have avoided you inputted, the number %d is odd. You could have written this easily. So, let me run this once more. What I meant to say is 56, it will only print the number 56 is even. You just run it once more, 39, the number 39 is odd. I have just written that number once more, just for the sake of it, just for you to understand this. So, I think this is good enough for you. You can take a bit of rest and we will come back again with the next program.